It's time to introduce our guest speaker, Pauline Gold. Pauline is a medium, healer, and teacher who has always been very sensitive to her surroundings since a young age. Becoming a medium was a journey in soul searching and faith. Pauline is a deeply spiritual person whose calling is to deliver messages that bring comfort and peace in a nurturing, loving environment. It is her honor and greatest joy to tune into the other side and relay information to those who come to her for a reading. Pauline also has a background in working with and caring about the deaf community, which has been a major part of her life. As a medium, psychic, and healer in Cassadaga, Florida, she's expanded her signing opportunities where she provides intuitive spiritual counseling. She loves reaching out to the deaf community with a clear and down-to-earth communication style, sharing her skills and talents. Help me in welcoming Pauline Gold.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. Have you turned on the news lately, only wanting to, after a few minutes, turn it off? The never-ending news cycle, the negativity, the anxiety on social media, it can be a lot. And it may be incredibly difficult to find some breathing room between all of this. On the one hand, you want to be up to date with the world, and on the other hand, it can seem like it's too much for one person to take it all in. So what can we do amidst all of this chaos? And sometimes we might ask, when will it end? We constantly ask ourselves these questions. Well, it seems the chaos is building and building and building. And we're finding ourselves feeling stressed, tense, and anxious, which impacts our work, our relationships, and every other aspect of our lives. And this is where finding that inner peace becomes imperative. I can't count the number of people that I've encountered the last 6 weeks. Family, friends, co-workers, just people at the grocery store who have reported that they are deleting apps, limiting their consumption of the news, disrupting and pausing the barrage of information overwhelm on our phones, our laptops, even our radios. You know, hey, let me turn the channel where the music is on instead of the news. And I'm beginning to see this as a spiritual discipline, an essential tool for our sanity and a key to discerning and sustaining a sense of agency for the time ahead. Eckhart Tolle said it best, rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them. When I first came to Cassadaga, I kept on hearing from at Lyceum, the speaker who was speaking at church, other workshops was saying, start a meditative practice. Start a meditative practice. When we think of a meditative practice at that time, you know, I'm thinking a serene guru sitting in a perfect, calm, and control, and typically calm, straight, lotus position pose, looking calm and just being in awe is the way I think about it. But if you ever attempted meditation for more than just a few minutes, you know that it's not as simple as it appears. I believe at that time that I could become completely thoughtless. Make my bed, no thought. Washing my hands, no thought. Walking around, no thought. Imagine this spiritual experience that we can all have. But it wasn't like that. We're human, and guess what? We have thoughts. You don't need to get rid of all your thoughts, and why should you? Just like our eyes see, just like our ears hear, just like our nose smells, just like our tongue tastes, and just like our body feels, our mind thinks. So over the years, with taking a variety of natural law classes, philosophy of spiritualism, even my yoga practices and teachings, I've learned a meditative state is defined as a state of heightened awareness, of a deep concentration and inner stillness. In this state, you become aware of the silent observer, yourself. That constant chatter, that monkey mind, all of a sudden starts toning down and softens, and you can experience a profound sense of calmness. Your body starts to relax, releasing any tension or stress, and you can observe your thoughts and emotions with complete clarity and hopefully non-judgment. And guess what? We can arise above that limitation of the human mind and ultimately discover our true selves. But it takes practice, not just once, I think more than thousands of times. And through the teachings, and especially with my yoga teachings, I've been learning about there's 5 states. So first we have that monkey mind, that chatter, the ones that is going all over the place. You're unfocused. Managing even the mundane day-to-day responsibilities becomes a challenging because of that wandering mind going everywhere, constantly jumping up and down. When we're in this mind state, a person managing just simple activities becomes challenging because there's no clear focus. Here in this state, I believe this has become a common state in today's stressful times. The mind is extremely restless and is always jumping from one thought to the next. Did I forget to shut the lights off? Did I leave the toaster oven on? In monkey mind state, you're not able to conduct your daily life with ease and calm. And then we can go down a little further to the donkey mind. This is the state, as you can imagine, where we feel lazy, sluggish. There's a lack of concentration, alertness, and energy needed to deal with just different life situations. Because of this lack of drive, we can feel in this mind state feeling hopeless when situations are challenging. And sometimes that can lead to failures and feelings of dissatisfaction. But then we can move into the butterfly mind. In this state, the mind alternates between moments of clarity and then moments of distraction. I feel like I've been in this all month. When you're in this state of this mind, you are not fully in control of your thoughts. Sometimes the mind might feel balanced and joyful, but in difficult times, it can get pulled back to states of agitation or sadness. How often can we blame the external factors for creating that disturbance? Oh, that alarm clock just went off. Oh, I just heard a ding on my phone. And all of a sudden, you're distracted, and sometimes you can get agitated. We blame the environment, and sometimes we forget to blame our own perception, our own way of thinking. Then we can move into the crane mind. And through this state of mind, you find a single point of focus, which is great, because now you're focusing. And it helps you to filter through the experiences and awakens your intuitiveness and sense things beyond just the 5 senses. And there's a part of you that feels absolute in control of your thoughts, of your actions, but then there's this lingering doubt within. This internal and external situations starts pulling you outward. and putting you in different directions. And then all of a sudden, you're not feeling that calm inner self. The one that we are all trying to achieve is the mastermind. Because in this state, nothing can distract you from your point of focus. The mind is no longer agitated or disturbed by external or internal factors. The mastermind represents a state of pure calmness. And sometimes we can experience that with meditation, or when we're in the flow of something, where we're completely absorbed into the present moment. Because here, in that state, you're free, your mind is free, and there's a sense of inner peace within. The above classification of mind states, those 5, helps us to understand our own mental state, because we can go through any of those in a single day, in a single moment of time, or you can stay in one area. Because in our daily life, most of us can be seen, especially in the donkey mind, the monkey mind, and the butterfly mind. We can be fluttering about everywhere. Because sometimes we could be feeling restless to maintain concentration and balance. Sometimes our mind can lack the energy to make an effort to focus. Sometimes our mind can lack consistency and is unable to maintain focus, because there are so many moments of concentration and balance, and at other times we can get distracted and trapped into old habits. Constantly happening to us, moment by moment, time to time. But Thich Nhat Hanh said it best: the mind can go in 1,000 directions, but on this beautiful path, I walk in peace. With each step, the wind blows. With each step, a flower blooms. And what's beautiful about that quote is it reminds me of we have a choice where we're putting our attention. We have a choice of what we're focusing on. We have a choice of what we want to do, where we want to go, what we want to see, what we want to hear, what we want to feel, what we want to taste. We have that choice. We have that control. Our thoughts are just our thoughts. Because it's easy to feel peaceful and positive when the sun is shining and life is going your way. It's a different matter when you're alone, afraid, sick, or so tired that you have trouble getting out of bed in the morning. And there's these 2 wonderful practices that help me out of the hardest times by awakening that awareness behind my thoughts and restoring my inner strength, my inner peace. One of the beautiful things that I keep learning and keep being reminded of is to pay attention to how I feel, to go within. Often when those negative thoughts, I begin to feel stress or anxiety within my body, sometimes I feel the physical symptoms, like tightness in my chest or shallow breathing. And other times I could feel strong feelings of embarrassment, self-doubt, anger, or sadness. And once I realize that I'm not in tune with my inner self and feel kind of off that day, I can quickly take a breath. I can quickly go outside before it worsens to get in touch back with myself. Whether it's sitting in the backyard or taking a walk around the block, or just if I'm in my car rolling down the windows, it only takes just those few moments before my stress and anxiety reduce, and I begin to feel calm and still within. Because in that space, I'm able to be the awareness behind any negative thoughts and allow them to just dissipate rather than dwelling on and believing in them, right? Because all that wonderful self-doubt talk and monkey mind chatter starts chiming in. It's like, no, stop. The other wonderful thing that I do, and I remind myself of, is to do something that brings me joy. I frequently find myself in what I could have done differently, or what might have happened in the future, and eventually spiral into that hole of self-doubt and self-judgment. The should-haves, the could-haves, what if? And in that space, it's hard to motivate yourself to do something that makes you happy when you're pinned against the wall by negative thoughts. I was speaking to a childhood a friend, and we used to love to go to the ocean. And especially when it was a little rough, the seas, because we knew if we just ran and jumped in, there would be that peace. And we swam further, it would be calmer. And the same thing, that analogy is wonderful with our mind. Noting that while the surface is constantly turbulent, there is that inherent stillness and peace in the depths if we just go and just go within. When I'm doubting or judging myself, I try to do one thing that makes me happy. Just one, however big or small. It can be just writing in my journal. It could be getting out a favorite recipe and making something. It could just be just sitting out and hearing the birds. It doesn't matter what it is. It brings you joy. It brings you happiness. This changes your energies because you pull yourself away from all those negative thoughts that you're having, and you get to focus your attention on something else. And that just awakens your presence and your awareness. Because the key to experiencing peace, that inner peace, that meditative state that we're all wanting, is not in silencing the mind, but in changing our relationship with our thoughts. Because peace is an integral part of our being, always present and accessible, always. But sometimes we overlook it due to our preoccupation with the mind's surface-level activities. What if? The doubt, I heard something, I need to pay attention to it. Pay attention to within. Pay attention to yourself. It's not possible to avoid the dark days in life, but it's always possible to bring some light into that darkness and peace into your soul. And we get to choose that. We get to choose where we're focusing our attention. We get to choose, you know what, I'm going to look at this with gratitude. You know what, I'm going to make a choice, and a deliberate choice, and take a step, because that brings me joy. Or I'm going to look at this and decide, it doesn't matter what anyone else says, this is what I want to do, this makes me happy. And I can say that though I've had times where I was lost in negative thoughts, sometimes for weeks, my awareness and my inner strength has always brought me back home to my heart. And that's for each and every one of us. You all have examples of that, where you went right back inside and within. So pay attention to those loud or subtle nudges your awareness gives you when you're going through challenging times, because they're there to nudge you and to say, hey, you're okay. Your awareness and inner strength are stronger than any negative thoughts that you may have. And they can help you recognize them for what they are, because they're just thoughts. And when I think about those five, especially the four animals, you can sit there and look at the donkey, you can sit there and look at the monkey, you can sit there and look even at the butterfly and the crane. I recognize you, but you don't have a hold on me. I can do what I want to do, and I can do things that I want to do because I choose to do that. And it's a wonderful, inspiring feeling of hope to know that you have choices. And it's about you just taking that step within and recognizing that you're stronger than than sometimes our thoughts tell us. And thank you so much for listening.